during the Old Kingdom. The tombs were closed for 3 years for renovation, and the renovation works included repairing the inscriptions inside and paving the ways leading to them, as well as maintaining the ventilation system inside the pyramid. Besides the pyramids of Khufu, which is about 4,500 years old, 5 other tombs were opened in the necropolis west of the pyramid, including the tomb of Khan Mankha, who was known to be in charge of the secrets of the king's documents. Meanwhile, in the necropolis east of the pyramid, the tomb of King Chop's granddaughter, Mary Sankh, was opened. Mary Sankh's tomb is believed to be the most beautiful tomb in Haram monument area. Egypt has started to open many of its cultural attractions since September 2012 to encourage more tourists to come to Egypt and boost the Egyptian economy. The Great Pyramid of Giza is one of the oldest and largest of the 3 pyramids in the Giza necropolis, bordering what is now El Giza, Egypt. It is the oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world and the only one to remain largely intact. Dina Yunus will take us in a tour there.
Pyramids are tombs. That's a fact that needs to be asserted when we talk about these gigantic, magnificent structures that were built by the hands of the great ancient Egyptians. The total number of pyramids in Egypt is 113, most of which have turned into piles of sand and rubble, and none matches the triad collection known as the Pyramids of Giza. The 3 pyramids belong to 3 kings, Cheops, Khafre, and Mycerinus. They were sequential descendants of the same family, and they ruled Egypt during the Old Kingdom 5,000 years ago. The estimated number of stones used in building the biggest pyramid is 2,300,000 blocks that weigh between 2 and 5 tons each. The geniusity of engineering and building the pyramids is elaborated in the facts that they face exactly the 4 cardinal points of Earth, and that each of the angles is an exact right angle that measures 90.3.22 degrees. The pyramid is a magnified shape of the benben, which is a pyramidically shaped stone that was placed over a column in the temples of the sun. It was thought that it was a place where the phoenix bird stood once and started the creation, symbolizing the sun god. These are the remains of a village occupied by tomb diggers, artists and workers who were engaged in the construction and decoration of royal and private tombs here in the west bank of Luxor, like the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Queens. It was known in ancient texts as Set Ma'at, which means the place of justice. On the west side is the cemetery of Deir el-Medina with its colored rock tombs. The kings of the new kingdom and its engineers realized that the former king's tombs were robbed, and thus their chance of an eternal life in the netherworld was lost. So they replaced the pyramid's tombs with rock tombs cut out in the rocks of the West Bank Mountains in Luxor. The scenes painted on the walls of the local tombs, which are smaller versions of the king's tombs, reflect the same religious ideas in addition to everyday activities. The most famous ones belong to Pashidu and Sen-Nejm. spite of the wonderful vivid colors that were best preserved in the rock tombs, yet the pyramids continue to amaze humankind with their giant simple shape and inner brilliant, complicated construction.
The Egyptian government is discussing a plan to start closing the shops at 10 o'clock p.m. Let's listen to what the people has to say about this decision.
The government has recently announced that a law will be issued to enforce strict closing times for most commercial shops. The new law is expected to be enforced beginning of November, and under this law, shops will have to shut their doors by 10 p.m. and restaurants will have to close by midnight or face strict penalties.
احنا موافقين على غلق المحلات الساعة 10 بيبقى في التزام، بس انا بعتقد ان البلدان المتحضرة او المتقدمة اللي نفسنا نبقى زيها بتبقى عندها التزام بالمواعيد وبتدي مواعيد محددة للمحلات التجارية، غير طبعا الزخانات او الاماكن الترفيهية او الاغذية او الحاجات دي بيبقى مسموح لها بوقت اكتر. لكن بالنسبه للمحل التجاري يعني متهيألي لو 10 كويس.
بالنسبه لتحديد المواعيد دي هي في مميزات وفي عيوب. اولا مميزاتها ان هي بتحدد وقت العمل بالنسبه للمحل، دي حاجه. تاني حاجه بتوفر الطاقه. بس العيوب بقى ان تعتبر القاهره دي من المدن السياحيه، ما ينفعش السائح يجي من الساعه 10 ينام في الفندق، دي حاجه. وبعد كده لما الدنيا هتبقى المحلات هتقفل الجريمه هتزيد، هتبقى الشوارع فاضيه وممكن الجريمه تزيد.
This law was proposed earlier in August as a reaction and an effort to solve the power crisis currently facing the country. But some workers and businesses fear that the early closing times would mean less sales and thus less salaries. In a time that's already economically stiff, this won't help.
لا مش هينفع طبعا. الناس هتروح فين؟ في ورديات، في 24 ساعه بيشتغل. الناس بتشتغل من 8 ل 8 الصبح.
السوق هادي والناس تعبانه، واخد بالك؟ يعني لو السوق فيه رواج وفيه شغل ماشي، نقفل 6 7 مفيش مشكله، لكن مفيش سوق يعني كده البلد بتنزل مش بتطلع.
انا بخاف ان اخسر زباين مش من المواعيد او من طول الفتره الزمنيه، انا بخسر زباين من الناحيه الامنيه. يعني لو مفيش امن في الشارع مفيش حد هينزل يتمشى او يتجرأ يمشي بمبلغ او بالمدام بتاعته او باولاده في مكان ما فيهوش امان.
Cairo has a reputation of being a city that never sleeps, and the public have gotten used to this. So will this law work or not? Only time will tell. But what's sure is that the implementation of the law would need a lot of follow-up and a lot of getting used to.
With this, we come to the end of today's edition of Your Say. Hope you have enjoyed it. Until we meet again next week, I'm Histi Rabia. Many thanks for watching and have a very pleasant time.